Let's travel back in time. Imagine you're standing in ancient Athens. You can smell the olives and the sea on the breeze, and you're surrounded by some of the most brilliant thinkers who ever lived. And that's where our story starts, with a super simple, everyday question that led the great philosopher Aristotle to dream up a picture of the entire cosmos, a picture that, believe it or not, would stick around for almost 2,000 years.
So picture this. A young kid named Nico walks up to Aristotle and asks him this question. Why does smoke go up but a stone falls down? It sounds so simple, right? Almost like a kid's question. But for Aristotle, this wasn't just about a rock and some smoke. No. To answer this question was to figure out the fundamental rules of the entire world. And his answer started with a really basic idea. Everything is made of just a few core ingredients. Now, to get his head around the entire universe, Aristotle didn't start by staring up at the stars. Nope, he started by looking down, at the very ground we walk on. He figured that everything in our world, everything he called beneath the moon, was just a mix of four essential building blocks. First up, you've got the element of earth, and we're talking everything solid, everything heavy, dirt, rocks, that kind of stuff. Its whole nature, its purpose, is to be at the bottom, forming the foundation of, well, everything. Next, of course, is water. It's a liquid, it flows, and crucially, it's lighter than earth. I mean, think about it. If you pour a bucket of water onto the ground, where does it go? It settles right on top. And this whole idea of layering, it's going to be key. And even lighter than water? You guessed it, air. It's the invisible stuff that fills all the space above the ground and the oceans. We breathe it, we feel it, and it naturally floats above those heavier elements. And finally, topping it all off, the lightest and most energetic of the bunch, fire. I mean, fire never just sits there, does it? It's always leaping, always reaching upwards, trying to get as high as it can. It's restless, it's always moving. Okay, so we've got our four ingredients: earth, water, air, and fire. But so what? That tells us what stuff is made of, but it doesn't explain why things move. And the real genius of Aristotle's idea wasn't just listing the elements. It was giving each of them a purpose, a home that it was always trying to get back to. And this is where his big idea comes in, what he called natural place. So a stone is mostly made of the element earth, right? Its natural home, its place, is at the very center of everything. So when you let it go, it's not just falling, it's trying to go home. And smoke? Well, it's a mix of hot air and fire. Its natural place is up high, so it rises. See? It's not magic, it's a universe where everything knows exactly where it belongs. So you end up with this perfectly ordered, layered world. At the very center, you have earth. Floating on top of that is water. Resting above the water is the air. And at the very top of our earthly world, you have fire, always trying to get higher. It's all so neat and tidy. But that leaves a pretty big question, doesn't it? I mean, this system works great for stones and smoke. But what about the moon, the sun, all those little points of light in the night sky? Are they just giant campfires? For Aristotle, the answer was a huge, resounding no. The heavens, he said, were a totally different ballgame, a realm of pure perfection, playing by a completely different set of rules. And right there, that's the huge split in Aristotle's universe. Down here, beneath the moon, things are messy. They're made of those four clunky elements. Things are born and then they die, and everything just moves in a straight line, up or down. But the heavens? Whoa, that's a different story. They were perfect. They were forever. And their motion wasn't this chaotic up and down stuff. It was the perfect, unending circle. So, what were the heavens made of? A brand new element. The fifth element. Ether. This stuff was nothing like what we have down here. It was totally pure, weightless, and it never changed. It was divine. And the sun, the moon, the planets, the stars, they were all made of this perfect substance. That's why they shine with that eternal glow and never, ever seem to wear out. All right, we've got all the pieces on the board now. We've got our messy earthly realm and the perfect heavenly one. We have our 5 elements. So now let's put this whole cosmic machine together and see how Aristotle imagined the entire universe worked. And the absolute non-negotiable starting point for this whole model? The Earth, our world. And in this view, it is dead center and it does not move at all. It's not spinning, it's not orbiting anything. It is the fixed, stable anchor for the entire cosmos. Now, circling around our stationary Earth are these giant, invisible spheres made of that perfect ether. Think of them like huge crystal shells, one nested inside the other, kind of like those cosmic Russian dolls.
The moon is stuck to the first closest sphere. The sun has its own bigger one. And each of the planets gets its own sphere too, all spinning perfectly around us.
And wrapping around the whole shebang, the biggest sphere of them all, the final, outermost sphere that holds every single star you see in the night sky. They're called the fixed stars because they're all attached to this one shell. And this giant sphere turns once every 24 hours, pulling all the other spheres along with it, and creating that beautiful, predictable rhythm of night and day.
You gotta understand, for that young boy Nico, and for people for well over 1,000 years, this idea was a total game changer. All of a sudden, the night sky wasn't just some random spattering of lights in a big scary darkness. It was a machine, a perfect, predictable machine that you could understand.
And that really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? The universe was no longer a mystery, but a perfectly ordered machine, with our own world right at its very center. I mean, this wasn't just science. It was a source of comfort. It meant you lived in a place that had purpose, that had order, and you were at the very heart of it all.
So, look, we know this model isn't how the universe actually works. We've got telescopes and spaceships now, but I'll leave you with this thought. Just for a second, try to imagine it. If you truly believed you were standing on the unmoving center of the entire cosmos, and that all of existence, all of creation, was spinning in perfect harmony around you, how would that change the way you looked up at the stars tonight?